Hello and welcome to another another board game preview. This is for a game called Witchbound, which is a GameFound game. It is currently running a campaign on GameFound, which I'll have the link in the description below if you want to check it out. And this is a game that just sort of caught my eye because I was just sort of browsing, and I was the art style that it used. I'm a huge weeb. I love anime, and the art style definitely is anime inspired. But also the colors they used and things like that sort of reminded me of Kiki's Delivery Service. If you ever seen that movie, fantastic movie by the way. And yeah, this is developed by Dark Doll Games. I believe it's a one-person development team. By someone who's named Thatcher. I contacted them and asked for a prototype copy of the game. They don't have any prototypes currently, but they do have print and play. And I actually went and printed the game out on some like fairly sturdy cardstock, some like decent quality cardstock, so it at least looks fairly presented. You know, you got a coil. I coil bounded the book and the coil bounded the storybook, so at least it looks presentable. There are some other YouTubers that have covered it with colored versions, and I'm guessing that's the actual prototype version. Hopefully, I can get a prototype in the future. But other than that, we have the print and play demo today. Now, this game is a super cool sort of choose your own adventure open exploration game. And this sort of caught my eye as well because my family and I were really into the exit board games. And if you're unfamiliar with those, they're essentially one-time escape the room board games. But the publisher, they also have another branch of games called the adventure games. And those ones have some really cool interactions. And you don't, rather than an escape room, you're essentially trying to complete a whole scenario and try to complete an objective or follow a story with different branching narratives and things like that. And one of the main mechanics is combining numbers of different item cards to find different story passages, things like that. And this game utilizes that. And so I was like, okay, well, this looks fantastic. I love the art. I really enjoyed playing the adventure games with my family, and I figured this would be a really fun thing to try out. So what is Witchbound? So, you're pretty much you're on an island, the Coven Cove. There haven't been witches around for hundreds of years, and you suddenly sort of awaken your power as a witch, and you're essentially just trying to uncover the secrets of Coven Cove and figure out what's going on. And that's pretty much the main gist of it. And it's just sort of is going to be throwing you into the world, and you're just supposed to fumble your way through it. There's a lot of cool different interactions in this game, and we'll get to the demo in just a second here. But yeah, the game found it's going to be about, I believe the whole final game is going to be about 30 plus hours of content. They're going to have 56 different scenarios, environments to explore in the book. I don't know if they, off the top of my head at this time of this recording, I don't know if they have any more stretch goals that they have to hit, but the game did fund very well. I believe it has like over $100,000 funded already, and I believe it was the ask for it was only about 15,000, I think. So it did really well. So how do we play Witchbound? So first things first, if you look down at the top, this is going to be the story passage or the storybook. This is going to contain all of your different environments and things like that. You can see in the bottom right is just going to be the reference number. So for example, on here, we can have an arrow that's going to MO3 or MO1. That's just going to reference, which story scene that we have to actually go to. But in the prologue, we start in our bedroom, and then we sort of go from there because it just asks us to read passage 1. So we have a storybook here. Well, not storybook. This is sort of like the reference book that has all the different numbers that you read through, that have all the different things when you combine items, when you're investigating things, observing things, so on and so forth. But we're going to start with the prologue here. Whisper a wish and an awakening. You wake up with a start, finding yourself in your bedroom. You've been hearing the same whispered voice every night since you arrived on the island. Find me, repeated 3 times. When you mentioned it to your grandmother, she just smiled and told you to embrace the island's mysteries. She says that the island is still infused with magic, even though it's been over a century since the last witch lived. Despite this, the voice seems to be calling out to you, and you aren't one to ignore the opportunity for adventure. It's time to find out what clearly is trying to be found. We begin the story prologue, and we have to find the source of the whispers. So, You do have a inventory sheet here, which I'll put down here. So we start with 5 health max. We start with 5 max focus, and focus is going to be used essentially when we're trying to involve ourselves with encounters, essentially almost like our energy that we have to expend. And we do have a sleep action we can take in our bedroom that will actually help replenish the focus and have some other things that can potentially happen depending on what dice we roll when we take the sleep action. We also have some very, very basic actions we can do just by inspecting something. We can just look up whatever the action number is for that item or that thing in our inventory. We can travel, like I mentioned before, just going to the different story passages. And then we have 2 different action numbers that we start with, which is 1 and 2. 1 is going to be investigate, 2 is going to be touch. So 2 can be, we can interact with a point of interest within the scene. So for example, if there's a bag on the ground that has a number associated with it, we actually just combine the numbers. And that's sort of how the game lets you interact with things, it's all about combining numbers. You don't add the numbers together. So if you have something on the ground in the scene that has the number 50 on it, and you want to touch it, then you would just put the numbers together, so it'd be 250. And then you would reference that in this book to see exactly what will be happening. Not every single combination is going to be allowed, of course, and we'll get to that in a second. But we also have investigate here. And then of course, there's a bunch of other stuff on here that we'll get to. Things like spells, key items, potions, equipment, items, ingredients. The demo does reference that crafting isn't really in the game for the demo, as that is a pretty narrative-heavy aspect to it, so they don't want to spoil that. And we start with a slingshot that has 9 pebbles in it, and our action number is going to be 3 there. I apologize if it's a little bit tough to see the pencil written there as well, but I'll call it out in commentary. And then we also have some a spot for coins if we find those. On the other sheet, we end up with our prompt, story, and quests, as well as the lunar cycle, which will give us a certain amount of lucky dice whenever we sleep, depending on which part of the lunar cycle we're on. And the lucky dice can just be used in place of our focus when we're trying to do certain actions. And pretty much we just want to roll a d6 dice, and we're looking for a odd number to actually have it succeed, and an even number will cause it to fail. But the prompt, story, and quest sheet is going to be our main way of interacting with the story as well. So we start off with one prompt, which is just hello, which is action number 2. That is going to be sharing the same action number as touch here, but that just means that you can't use it in the same action, of course. And then we have the story, because we started with the prologue. This just gives us the reference number that's listed in the interaction book, just so we can quick reference that. So the prologue is 1 here, so we're just going to write that so we can quickly reference exactly what part of the story we picked that up on. And then we have a section for quests that we can fill in and then just check box them once we actually complete them. So that is pretty much the setup. It's a really, really straightforward game. It's really, really easy to pick up, and I think that's one of the beauties of this game, is that it's super, super accessible. It's not complicated, and it just lets you jump in and start experiencing a story. So let's dive into the demo. So first off, we start in our bedroom. We just woke up. We have that creepy whispering going on, and we have just one way we can go. We can go MO2. There's no numbers in this scene that I can see, so nothing really that I can interact with, so we'll just go on to MO2. So in this scene, we can see that we sort of have a kitchen. There's an NPC here. It says Granny 24. It's just going to be the name of the NPC and the number we have to reference if we want to interact with it. And I can also actually see, and this is one of the big important things about this game, is a lot of it is contextual clues, right? So if we look at this door, if you can see there's actually a 50 written on the door. So if we want to interact with that, we'll have to remember that we had just combine it with the number 50. No other numbers I can see other than going to MO3, scene MO3. But let's interact with Granny. So the first thing that we can do is we can just investigate to see what we're looking at. We can investigate with our basic action 1. So if we combine 1 with 24, which is Granny, it gives us 124. So we can reference that in the sheet and go jump to 124 here. So we're just investigating Granny. We're just staring from afar. Your grandmother is a short, stout lady who always keeps her silver hair in a bun and wears a white apron. No matter how old it gets or how messy she is, it never seems to get dirty. So obviously, investigating is going to be very, very important early on. There's no turn sequence or anything like that, so we just can sort of freely do whatever we want to. But now that we know that Granny is not some sort of creepy monster, we can maybe use our prompt that we start with, which is prompt action number 2. So if we combine action number 2 with 24, we can see what we get. And here's 224. Granny says, "Hello, dear. Care for a fresh muffin?" And we gain item muffin number 37. So now we can write that in our inventory. So we got item muffin. And it's action number 37, so we always write that in the box to reference what we need to combine it with, and we get one of those. So we can check off one of those. And then we go back to the book, and we can see that if we've completed the quest Fresh Flowers, the interaction ends here, but if not, we haven't done that yet, so we continue on. I wonder if I might ask a small favor of you. Could you please bring me some fresh flowers for the guest rooms? They do add a nice bit of color. Here are a few coins if you need them. We gain the quest Fresh Flowers, so we need to get fresh flowers for Granny, so we can write that quest down. Fresh flowers. Again, very, very messy writing. Hasn't improved since grade school. we gain 4 coins with action number 7. So now we know the coin action is 7, and we have 4 coins total. So whenever we want to do maybe buying something or whatever, we can combine that with number 7. So now we have a quest. We have to go get flowers for a Granny, so fairly straightforward. Now we can investigate the door as well, so we might as well look up what the door has to offer. And so we have the investigate action for 1. We can just look at it. We have 150, and we can check that. We see the wooden door is solid looking and has a large keyhole under the handle. A sign on the door reads cellar. Well, we can also touch the door potentially, interact with a point of interest within the scene with our hands. So if we do that, we can look at 250, and maybe that'll give something. So if we look at 250, we can see that you reach for the handle, but the door is locked and doesn't budge. But I'm guessing we probably could have gathered that from the keyhole, but always worth trying. The biggest thing is this game is very much like a point-and-click adventure, where you do have to just sort of try things and see what works. Now, obviously, some things aren't going to work. For example, we do have our slingshot, which is action number 3. If we try to combine our slingshot with Granny and go to 324, maybe we can shoot Granny with a pebble. And we look, it's 319 and 359. It is in numerical order. There is no 324, so obviously some things are not going to be doable. The game does give you quite a bit of freedom, but obviously the game is fairly family friendly, and things that don't make sense or things that would make you waste resources for no reason, I'm guessing, are not going to be in the game. But we're pretty much done with this location. Let's go down here. We have MO3 as our next location. So let us move on, and we get this nice scene. Again, I really wish I had the prototype, because seeing some of the colored versions, this version definitely does not do it justice, even though it does look very, very nice. So we have quite a lot of things going on. This is the town square you can see in the bottom left there, MO3 in the bottom right, and there are already a ton of contextual clues here. Not only that, we have 3 different NPCs. We have Marin, number 33, Petal, who looks to be actually selling some flowers, so that could be very, very useful for us, and then we have Carrie, which is number 45. MO2 is back here. We know that this is just where we came from, which is our house. And other locations, it doesn't seem like we can go anywhere else. Obviously, this is a demo. There is a pathway going here, pathways going everywhere. There's like signs that aren't filled in, so it's very much a work in progress. But let us see. We have Carrie talking to this sort of person with almost looking like a gnome hat. But if you look, I don't think you can see this until I zoom in, but if you look in the well there is actually a number 67, and in the tree there's actually a number 59, which you can barely see. So there are a lot of hidden clues that can potentially find some secrets, I'm guessing. From what I can see, that those are the only scene-based clues I can find. Maybe someone else can spot one. Again, this is the first time I've played this, so I actually haven't played this before, so I might miss some things. So we'll see. Let's go talk to Petal though, and we can just maybe investigate first, so we can look at her from afar. And so it's going to be number 1 is investigate, so 138 for the prompt. So let us flip back through. 138. And we can see here. The young woman stands in front of the flower booth with an ear-to-ear smile, happily waving to anyone that walks by or looks her way. She wears a set of colorful wings on her back. I actually didn't even notice that. Probably would have helped if it was colored, but I actually didn't notice that. I thought it was just part of the dress. All right, well, we can use our hello prompt, which we know is just going to be number 2 for our hello prompt. And of course, throughout the story, you will be gaining more prompts to just let you do more speaking interactions. Things can get pretty complicated, I'm sure, down the road. But we can combine 2 with 38, so we get 238. And so, it looks like we're going to have a conversation started. Hi, she says. I have a most wondrous selection of flowers for sale. Care to take a look? You may purchase any of the items below. Don't forget to reduce your coins accordingly. So we can get 1 batch of flowers for action number 38, and it costs us 2 coins. So it looks like that is the only thing we can do there. So let us purchase those flowers, because that is our quest. We got to help Granny out. So, let us reduce our coins by 2. So we go from 4 to 2. And then we get flowers in our items. And that is action number 38. And we have 1 of those. All right. So, and I'm guessing we could actually spend all of our flowers if we wanted to. Or not all of our coins if we wanted to actually purchase the rest of the flowers, or purchase more flowers. But I think let's just finish this quest off first. So let's go back to MO2. Maybe we'll get something useful from Granny, so let us bring that scene back. Hello, Granny. So, now that we have an item we can combine with, so we can either talk with Granny again, but we can just also combine our action number, flowers, with Granny. So 38 is our action number for the flowers, and 24 is Granny. So 38, 24 total. Again, you're not adding, you're just combining numbers. Really straightforward. So 38, 24. It looks like we succeeded our quest. Thank you, dear. These are lovely. We lose our item, flowers, by 1. And if you have completed the quest, interaction ends here. If not, continue reading. But this is our first time doing it. I appreciate you helping me with those. We've completed the quest, Fresh Flowers. That said, I do have another ask of you before you run off. I've been hearing of some sounds down in the cellar at night. I'm sure it's just pesky nibblers, but those steps are hard on my old legs. Perhaps you wouldn't mind going down there to figure out where they are coming from. Do be careful, though, dear, as they like to bite. We gain the quest Nightly Noises and the Cellar Key, which is action number 12 and 1. So, we can... Damn it, Granny, we didn't even... I guess we got the Cellar Key. I guess that was our reward. So we got Fresh Flowers. We can check that off our quests now. And now we have Nightly Noises. Additionally, we did lose our flower, so we can get rid of that. We can keep it in our items, though, because again, we can go back to that. We can go back to Petal and buy some more. But we did also get a key item, so there's a separate section for quest items. So we got Cellar Key, and that's action number 12. Alrighty, so we have another quest. I don't know if I want to... You know what? I don't think I want to go to the cellar just yet. So let's go back to the town square and maybe explore a little more. Because there was a lot of people we didn't really talk to. Plus, I want to sort of see what's going on in the well. Maybe we can throw a coin in there, and that can be like a wishing well. Let's see what Marin's all about first. So Marin is... Oh, Marin is 1. Or sorry, Marin is 33. So let's investigate Marin and see what we get. So 133... Again, we're just being a creeper and just sort of staring at everyone right off the bat. The child's clothes are more akin to rags than clothing. She is barefoot and her hair is twigs and debris tangled in, but she wears a big smile as she stares triumphantly at the insects in her hand. Interesting. Seems like she's a bug catcher. Well, let us just use our hello prompt, which is action number 2. Let's greet Marin. So we're looking at 233. Hi, want to see my new friends? I just caught them. They are called glow bugs because they glow in the dark. Boy, aren't you smart, Marin? The girl looks up at you and her eyes light up. Hey, you look like a witch. I wish I could pretend to be a witch too, but I don't have any of that cool stuff. We gained the quest Wannabe Witch. Help Marin pretend to be a witch. Interesting. I'm guessing we'll probably get a bug from that. We're getting a lot of quests. Wannabe Witch. I have doctors writing. Yes, I know. All right, well, last person to interact with is Karen. Or Carrie, sorry. I was combining Marin and Carrie. All right, so let's investigate Carrie. So 145 is going to be Man, having things coil bound is so much nicer. Makes it so much easier because there's a lot of flipping back and forth. So 145. We have the girl is chatting with someone that looks a lot like her while waving around a rod with a crescent moon on its end. Interesting. All right, well, let's greet her. 245. Maybe she's a... I'm guessing she's probably not another witch. There hasn't been another witch in years, huh? Hello. Can you help settle an argument for us? My sister thinks the muffins from the inn are blueberry, but I say they're elderberry. Problem is, we spent our last money at the gift shop, so we can't buy any muffins. Berry bickering. Help the sisters figure out the muffin flavor. Well, I do have a muffin. So I guess that makes it easy. Well, what is our muffin prompt? So we have muffin number 37 is our action prompt there. So let us combine 37 with Carrie, and they can have a muffin. So 37, Carrie is 45, so 37, 45. Is that for me? Those muffins are delicious, thank you. We lose the muffin. If you've completed the quest Berry Bickering, the interaction ends here, but we have not. She takes a large bite of the muffin and she looks intently at her sister as she chews. I knew it! They are elderberry. Thank you for proving me right. I have an extra wand from the gift shop. Here, you can take it. Thanks. We gain wand and we complete the quest Berry Bickering. Part of me wishes there was experience for this game and leveling up. Alright, we completed Berry Bickering. We did lose our muffin. But we can always go back to Granny and get more, because we know from the prompt that we can keep interacting with her. We could actually fill up and get 3 muffins total. But we lost our muffin right now. And we got complete quest, Berry Bickering. We gain our wand. And that is prompt number 33. And we have one of those. Alrighty. Last thing I want to do here is I think I want to interact with the well. So let's just look at it first. So 160. So the well says it's 67. So let's go 167. And we can see there. The water in the old well is calm and dark with a faint reflection of the sky above. Looking closely, you see an old faded plague on the side of the wall? I think that's a typo. I think it's supposed to be old faded plaque on the side of the wall. Unless it is supposed to be plague, I don't know. Prompt, fairy fountain. Interesting. So fairy fountain, so that actually goes in the prompt section. So we have a new thing we can do. Fountain, and that's prompt action number 6. So we can combine 6 with other stuff then, huh? So if I combine the fairy fountain with Carrie, for example, I'm wondering if that will maybe just ask her about the fairy fountain. So let's combine that, what we just got. Fairy fountain is number 6 with Carrie, so 645. Maybe let's open up a new line of dialogue, which could be pretty interesting. Oh, there is one. Look at that. So we got 645. She says, I threw a coin into that thing, but my wish didn't come true. Maybe the magic is gone. Well, I think that is a clue. We do have 2 coins left. I'm guessing because our magic just got reinvigorated, or at least it seems like it's getting reinvigorated. I guess our coin should work. So let us use our coin prompt. Coin prompt is number 7 here, and I'm guessing we're probably going to lose a coin here, but let's see. So we have 7, and combining it with the well, which is 67. So 767. Alright, we do lose a coin. It sinks into the water. Suddenly a small ball of light with quickly fluttering wings appears in front of you. You have awoken the fairy of the fountain with your offering. A coin for me, a gift for you. So we get to choose one. Restore 1 spent focus or 1 luck die. Well, I haven't spent a focus, but I guess so I guess we'll choose the luck die. The fairy vanishes with another small pop sound. But that does give, I'm guessing, as long as we can keep spending coins here, we can keep using that ability. Doesn't say we can't. So, where do we actually keep track of luck dice? Doesn't seem like there's a space on the sheet. Funny enough. I'll just write it on top. Luck dice. You got 1. Alrighty. So, I think that is going to do it for this. I guess we might as well look at the nest. It's another sort of hidden prompt, something that might actually be interesting. It's number 59, so we'll read 159, just investigate it. And it looks like we got the large bird nest is tucked into the branches of the tree. In the light, you catch a glint of something shiny working into the tangle of twigs and leaves of the nest. Several birds linger in the branches of the tree, eyeing you warily. I mean, we have a wand. I could get a muffin and maybe throw it into the nest. Maybe they're hungry. But you know what? We haven't used our slingshot yet. Let's be sort of a little bit of a meanie. Let's see if we can use the slingshot on the nest. Maybe we can knock that shiny thing out of the nest. So our slingshot is action number 3. Oh, also I did lose a coin, so we're down to a 1. So action number 3 combined with 59, which is the nest. So we got 359. I'm sure this will be fine. We get lose 1 pebble, it says there at the bottom. But then the pebble hits the nest just hard enough to knock an object loose, and it falls to the ground in front of you. Nice. Uh-oh. It was a coin. Oh, I don't really need more of those. I mean, I guess I could use more of those. But a loud chorus of squawks begins before several large birds fly out of the tree and begin pecking and scratching you. Okay, we trigger encounter C and lose 1 health. Ay. Well, I should have expected that. All right, we lose 1 pebble, but we do gain a coin, so we're back up to 2. But we also lose a health, so out of the 5, we lose 1 health. And now we get into the encounter cards. So there are different encounters in the game, and they are represented by these different cards. I have them. They don't come like this. I have them sleeved in my Magic the Gathering or my Dragon Shield sleeves, but they're just on cardstock that I cut. But we got action or encounter C. We got Angry Clucks. So we can see there's a number at the bottom there. That's how we can interact with it. And while active, you lose 1 heart each time you interact with anything in the scene other than this encounter. Ooh, all right. We got some pesky, angry birds pecking at us and chasing us all around the town square. Well, I mean, I guess we'll just shoot the birds with our slingshot. So action number 3 for our slingshot, we'll combine it with 18. So 318, and let's see if that will actually work. So at 318, we lose a pebble. The pebble flies right through the flock of birds as one rakes its claws against your outstretched arm. Lose 1 heart. Oh boy, well that didn't work. So we're down to 8, we're down to 7 pebbles, and we're down to 3 hearts left. I don't have any items other than the wand. I don't think the wand's gonna help us. Now, one thing that you can do is you can always leave an encounter. You can always leave a scene even with an active encounter in it. But of course, this encounter is going to be active in the scene. So when we come back here, that is still going to be in play. So let's run back into Granny's house and the safety of Granny's house and cry to her about how we just got wrecked by a bunch of birds. We can also maybe ask her about the fairy fountain, but I think first things first, let's just talk with her. Let's use our hello prompt, which is just 2, and maybe get a muffin that we can use for the birds. So 224, we know what it is, so this just gains a muffin, and because we completed the quest from earlier, that just ends this interaction. So we can just talk to her, and let's just say for ease of purpose, we'll just talk to her 3 times to gain 3 muffins, and just max out on our muffins, because no doubt we're gonna probably need more of those. We're down to 3 health, but you know what? Let's just run back outside and throw one of these muffins, and maybe that'll satiate these birds. So our muffin is going to be action number 37. We combine that with 18. So we get 3718, and maybe that'll help out. 3718. We lose a muffin. The muffin doesn't even hit the ground before the birds swarm it, attempting to get a piece before running off or flapping their way back into the tree. The encounter is defeated. Hell yeah. All right. Now, funny enough, I wonder if we can just keep interacting with the tree now, keep getting that interaction going. So we lose a muffin, and that is going to be it. So we have 2 out of 3 muffins still, or 2 out of 3 slots of muffins, and luckily that didn't actually hurt us anymore, so we're good on health now. But I think that is a great spot to end. I think that is that pretty much shows exactly what the demo is going to be. Obviously there was more encounters. You know, we could go in the cellar. We have the key now, which would lead us down to the cellar here, which has some extra, things that we can interact with, and no doubt other encounters. Looks like there's even like a dungeon that we can explore with almost like a chest in the corner. So you can sort of see all the things that can potentially happen in this game and a lot of the cool interactions that this game can have. No doubt this is going to be an absolute joy. This game is obviously meant to be played solo, but I could see, you know, especially if you have like a niece or a nephew or like kids, this would be a great thing to go along with them and maybe just, you know, get them into sort of these style of games. But even as an adult, I think there's a lot of cool things that you can explore. You know, this is obviously a more lighthearted story, but the fact that you still have, you know, spells, you have equipment, potions, ingredients. You know, if you love things like Stardew Valley or something like that, I think that you could still enjoy something like this. And, you know, especially games like, you know, Legend of Zelda, which is like one of the inspirations for this game. Other, you know, more lighthearted open world games. I think this could definitely be for you. This is like definitely like sort of just you're in the evening. Maybe you don't want to play something super intensive, but you just open this up and you sort of can just dive in, dive out. You know, you don't really have to save your progress. Everything is just sort of automatically written down, so you just are saving as you go. This is a really, really cool game. I actually really, really enjoyed this little demo. I didn't even play the full thing, but I think this is a really, really cool showing. And the fact that, you know, definitely go check out the GameFound and check out some of the other videos on YouTube that have the actual prototype when it's colored, because it's gorgeous, gorgeous art. And it's going to be like a huge, huge storybook. There's going to be, you know, I believe, like I said before, like 50 plus of these scenes, you know, fully colored and stuff like that. And I'm very, very curious to see sort of the final product, because especially the secret part of it, like going back to the town square, the fact that like these symbols were like fairly decently hidden. Obviously, they might be a little bit more pronounced when it's colored, but if you're not paying attention, if you're just going to the main NPCs, you're probably going to miss some of these small little details that could potentially have some really, really cool items or just some really, really cool story interactions. So yeah, that's going to be it. This has been a little demo preview of Witchbound. Big thanks again to Thatcher, who runs Dark Doll Games, that gave me the print and play. Hopefully, maybe I can get my hands on a final product once it's actually done. At the time of this recording, the GameFound still is going on for, I believe, around 15, 16 more days. So if you want to back it, definitely check it out. Again, this is not sponsored. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. Anything on this channel, I'll disclose any of that stuff if I ever do get sponsorships in the future. But also, this game is just about showcasing things that I enjoy, things that I think that you might enjoy as well, or that other people might enjoy. I know it's quite a bit different than the games that I've normally covered on this channel. It's definitely a lot more lighthearted than the games that I've covered on this channel. But hopefully, you still enjoyed it, and I think it'll find a home in maybe some people's board game shelves. Thanks again, and yeah, we'll see you next time.